Practices of the ad industry that I've never understood is why we spend so much of our time, money, and energy talking to young people and so little talking to older people. According to Nielsen, people over 50 are the most valuable generation in the history of marketing. So why do we ignore them? In order to understand this phenomenon, I think we need to talk about the makeup of the ad industry. Walk into any ad agency, and in about 10 seconds, something will become very obvious. Everyone is young. While people over 50 comprise 47% of adults in the US, they comprise 6% of agency employees. The excuse we're always given for that is that young people are just more creative, or as the insufferable Mark Zuckerberg says, young people are just smarter. I'd like to challenge this notion. To do so, I would like to go outside the advertising industry, which flatters itself with the idea of creativity, to other fields where creativity is absolutely essential. Let's look at the year 2017. We'll start with the Nobel Prize. There is only one Nobel Prize in a creative field. It's the Prize for Literature. It went to Kazuo Ishiguro, who is 64. The Pulitzer Prize is awarded in several creative fields. The Pulitzer for Drama went to Lynn Nottage, who is 54. The Pulitzer for History went to Heather Ann Thompson, age 55. The Pulitzer for Poetry went to Tahimba Jess, age 53. Meanwhile, at the Oscars, the Academy Awards for 3 of the 4 winning actors were people over 50. Frances McDormand, 60. Gary Oldman, 59. And Allison Janney, 58. The Oscar for Best Director went to Guillermo del Toro, who was 53. Next, we'll move to television. In the US, the Emmy for Best Drama Series went to The Handmaid's Tale. The novel was written for Margaret Atwood, who was 79 and is creative consultant on the show. The Best Comedy Series went to Veep, executive produced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, 57. She also won for Best Actress. Best Limited Series went to Big Little Lies, created by David E. Kelley, 62. The Best Supporting Actress was Ann Dowd, 62. Best Supporting Actor was John Lithgow, 73. Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series went to Alec Baldwin, 60. So let's recap. People over 50 are creative enough to dominate the Nobels, Pulitzers, Oscars, and Emmys, but are not creative enough to write a fucking banner ad. Thank you on behalf of old people everywhere. I got 2 more minutes here. Okay. Let's look at the facts about older consumers. In the US, people over 50 are responsible for over half of all consumer spending. They outspend the average consumer in nearly every category: food, household furnishings, entertainment, personal care, automotive. They account for 55% of all consumer packaged goods sales and dominate 94% of consumer packaged goods categories. They outspend other adults online 2 to 1 on a per capita basis. They have a net worth about 3 times that of other generations. They buy about 57% of all new cars. They control about 70% of the wealth in the United States. If they were their own country, Americans over 50 would be the 3rd largest economy in the world, bigger than the entire economies of Germany, Japan, or India. And the future, between now and 2030, the population of adults over 50 will grow at about 3 times the rate of adults under 50. Let me ask you a question. Do you really think it's a good idea to ignore these people? And yet, according to a 2016 study by Nielsen, people over 50 are the target for 5% of marketing activity. While everyone in marketing is obsessed with millennials, we are actually going through one of the greatest demographic changes in human history, and it's being completely ignored. This chart from the United Nations demonstrates an astounding demographic change that is occurring in just 100 years. In the year 1950, there were 3 times as many people in the world under 5 as there were over 65. By 2050, there will be twice as many people over 65 as there will be under 5. Our population is changing at an amazing rate, and here in Denmark, the discrepancy is even greater. While worldwide the median population is 29.6, here in Denmark it's 41.6. But we in the advertising and marketing business have invented all kinds of convenient bullshit for why we ignore mature people. The real reason we ignore older people is we hate them. We hate older people. Advertising people are young. They like the excitement of youth. They don't like the boredom of middle age and the frailties of old age. We can't build ourselves a hot advertising career by talking to old farts. Consequently, we have invented all kinds of bullshit to justify our malpractice. The neglect of mature consumers and pandering to young people is nothing but narcissism disguised as strategy. It is marketing by selfie stick. Okay, I'm almost done. Don't get nervous back there. Despite our veneer of creativity, the advertising and marketing business is one of the most imitative and conformist businesses in the world. Once something becomes trendy, it is difficult and, in fact, dangerous for someone to go against the grain. I could never have said to my clients 6 years ago when I was a CEO of an ad agency what I've said to you here this morning. Change is inevitable. Things are always changing. I'm not suggesting that we ignore digital media or ignore young people or ignore millennials. What I'm saying is we need to get some perspective back and get over our obsessions. We need to exercise a little modesty and discretion when we claim we know things that we don't really know. My advice to you is don't listen to loudmouths like me. Give yourself the wonderful freedom of skepticism. Dig out the facts for yourself. Nobody is smarter than the facts. Our industry has been spending too much time on another planet. I believe it's time for us to get back down to earth. Thank you very much.